Convenience is money. First, we have to find out why convenience is so convenient, and although the answer seems pretty obvious, here it is. Because it's so convenient, and that's basically my whole point. But a much more compelling question to ask is, why convenience should make money? Challenge accepted. To get started, we must define convenience. It's simply a process or system that takes less effort than other comparable processes or systems. But this is a very general definition. A system or process can really be anything. Sometimes it can be human action. Sometimes it can mean a way to get somewhere, sometimes to get something. It's a method to reach an objective. And for the most part, this method is simply more efficient, meaning it takes less effort to perform. When we commonly speak about convenience, the frame we use is, in most scenarios, human actions. So, convenience is choosing a method in favor of the more effortless one. Let's get our hands dirty with a practical example. When we get home after a long day, we have two basic options. Doing something productive, meaning an action that is part of a chain of events leading to an objective of ours. Let's just say being healthier, or we simply take out our phone and start scrolling through dumb cat videos. It's our decision, and at least we think it is ours. Users aren't clients. We now seem to live in a world where more and more online services become free, and that is in the first place a good thing. The big reveal that we as users are not the clients or the customers, but the products of these services, and the real clients, the companies buying our data, is already yesterday's chip paper, at least within the young people. The fact that Google tracks your devices, even with GPS tracking turned off, is no mystery for informed users, as the message about this recently came out. And then this thing called Facebook. Okay, I wanted to keep this article on a level of higher abstraction, but here it is. If you haven't heard of Facebook leaking data to your good old friend Cambridge Analytica, then you probably do not only live on but behind the moon. And now the surprise and outrage of the general public can't be stopped anymore, or couldn't be stopped anymore. Tesla and SpaceX already deleted their Facebook sites, and Playboy followed the Grandmaster Elon Musk in also deleting their account. But that already was a few months ago, or longer. Then there was this other thing, where millions of profiles got hacked. Facebook. Not only do you collect our data and use it to advertise everything to us, but you also don't ensure that the data is kept safe. But what's the big deal here? Why is everyone so outraged, and should we even care? Just realize that I can't answer all these questions with a simple statement. Okay, let's take a deep breath. At first, I understand that most people who aren't involved in any marketing, or just in general people whose internet abilities are comparable to those of a tree frog, just don't know this. I admit you have to be involved in this kind of thing, but for sure, these people already knew about all this stuff, because they are using all this accumulated data every single day. Tracking is standard these days. Let me explain. If you are on Facebook, then almost certainly you agree to Facebook's guidelines. In fact, you probably already have, unless you are younger and don't use Facebook anymore. Or to be more precise, never used it. Instagram and Snapchat are way cooler, I guess. But here comes the big reveal. Facebook tracks your internet activities. You might think, what? Really? No, you won't, because you already kind of knew about all this stuff. Ever wondered why, when you search for a new PC on your old laptop, 20 minutes after the search, a YouTube ad from Lenovo pops up before you can watch a video? Probably, because it happens every day. If you are not a nerd who sacrifices internet speed and convenience, giving up Chrome and switching to the Tor browser, then you probably already accepted this tracking. Okay, there is also Safari, just for watching Apple keynotes. So let's put together the pieces of this puzzle. Somehow YouTube must know what you are searching for on your laptop, and somehow also that you own a smartphone, and then deliver your previous searches to YouTube. And for Google, it's not that hard at all, because it basically is the search, not not for nothing, we already accepted to Google as a synonym for internet search. Next step, to know what type of smartphone you use. Also very easy. 2 options to choose from. Apple or Google, yeah. Android is written by Google, as you probably already know, because you set up a Google account when turning your phone on the first time. Chrome is not only the most used desktop browser, but also the mobile version of Chrome is kind of popular, meaning it's by far the most used one. And about that YouTube ad problem, YouTube is also owned by Google, and this is even a kind of more difficult scenario already, because it just isn't that hard at all in most of the cases. Logging into the ecosystem, because people love convenience, and isn't it very convenient to just stay logged in to your browser on your desktop all the time, not caring about passwords, using your browser to fill out sensible data automatically, and synchronizing all your tabs to all your devices? The answer to that question is yes, as you already may have guessed. So, does Google have a problem with tracking you? Not at all. But that's only the surface of what is possible. Every website can track your IP address, which is a 9-digit number that identifies you on the web. It changes from time to time because your router distributes them to all the logged-in devices and has to change them from time to time. But that's not the point. Data control. We got this. This is what the average Joe knows about this whole situation. You can basically guess what the companies do or how they make money just from connecting the dots of Joe's and his girlfriend's average Jane's life. If you download a free app on your smartphone, you agree to let the developer search through your contacts, let some dumb game use your camera, and of course provide them with your exact GPS data. And there is basically no opt-out. The experienced user knows that with newer versions of Android, you can opt out, and the apps even have to ask for permission, which is convenient. And that is strange. Why should Google give us an option to not give every app all the permissions? Maybe the company wants us to feel good, to feel superior, wants us to think that we have control over our data, and calming down the skeptical voice in us. And it's the same with incognito versions of Chrome. The same with the Google data guidelines we have to accept from time to time when using the Google search engine. Currently, I'm quite confused because I want to write 2 things at the same time, and in the best case also write coherent and readable stuff, but that's another story. Big surprise. So the first thing, the point of all this revealing that companies such as Google track us, and how they track us is this: they all do all day long. Big surprise, Google also happens to own the biggest ad network on the web, Google AdSense, and works with every Joe advertising on the web. I know, I just ruined everything. Ruined all the drama and the conspiracy vibe. But that just happened. Because this article is getting quite long and I don't want it to be 200 pages, because no one reads this. Targeting based on data. Okay, from an advertiser's perspective, you can track every person that saw one of your ads. You retarget them with the second ad, because they probably have already seen the first one. Ever been bombarded with another start homepage the second time you visited a website? That's what I'm describing right now. But it doesn't end there. You can target them specifically on their mobile devices. Say, show the user this ad 24 hours after seeing this ad on YouTube and after he visited your website the 3rd time. And it goes on and on. You now use Google Analytics, which is a very popular tool to analyze your site's traffic, and Google AdSense to target them when browsing the web. But then they use Facebook, and now it ends? Of course not. Facebook does the same thing if you register on Facebook's advertiser site. Facebook Business, you get to know all the elements of Facebook's ad toolbox, including the Facebook Pixel, to connect your Facebook tracking with your website and Google Analytics. The one big problem Google just can't resolve is that all this data is kind of anonymous. Yes, they know very much about you, but they can't link all this junk to the real you, only to IP addresses, Google accounts and stuff like that. which is a problem. If you want to find out who a person really is, then the first thing you probably need is the person itself, an identification of who the person really is, and not just a random IP that only shows where the person lives and stuff like that. Yeah, this is where, in fact, on Facebook, everyone and their dog use their real names comes in handy. The fact that on Facebook everyone and their dog use their real names comes in handy, because then Facebook has your real name and your data. Google doesn't unless you also give it to them. For example, if you ever used autofill, then Google probably knows your name, and of course also if you use your real name in your Google account. And it would be a little bit too naive to believe that Google hasn't figured out a way to link your autofill name to your data. Did I mention, by the way, that Amazon also does this? No, Amazon also does this. Just assume the worst scenario if you think about the question, whose company or website already has all your data. I know, I got quite technical here. That's a lot to digest, and because of length and time reasons, this is also why this article here will probably end soon. But I don't have to hide anything. I'm clean. But back to your data. The question is not, but I don't have to hide anything. Why should I care about the companies gathering all my data? Why should I even care? You should, always. But of course, you also are allowed not to care about your data. Just do this simple task for me and you will be freed from every responsibility you have for sharing your data. You actually do care. Because if you really didn't care about everyone knowing everything about you, then there is a very basic challenge for you. Go tell the person sitting on the other end of the table in your next job interview about on the other end of the table in your next job interview and tell them about your history with very special websites on the internet. Yeah, you guessed right. The one with the cool videos. The sites you delete your browser history after. And hand them a print of your browser history, a stick with all your messages from Facebook, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Instagram. Tinder would also be fun. And maybe your buying history on all the big internet shops would be great also. And maybe hand them all the data you store in the cloud somewhere, just to make sure the company you're applying forgets the right idea of who you are as a person, or gets, not forgets. Like really, it just increases the chance for both parties to be content with each other in the long term. So the answer to the big question in the title, because it is a business model that works. It's called economy. That's why convenience makes money.